Thanks for coming back. Close the door. Thanks for coming back once more. Hit subscribe if you care. Slap notifications and share. Don't walk away from me. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Hey, come on. Welcome back. Thank you for joining me again. If you're joining me again, and if you're here for the first time, I bid you hello. Thank you for tuning in. This is Security Stuff with Henchy. Those of you who know me know that I am a close protection operative, active close protection operative. Hit my Instagram, Henchy_Hench. You'll see some of the clients I've worked with, numerous over the last 10 years. And also I've experienced other parts of the industry. So I'm quite well versed in security issues. I consult on some things. But I'm a general, all-round cool guy, in my opinion. Whatever your opinion is, keep it to yourself. Anyway, welcome back. Today I'm going to talk about ego. Ego. Crazy. What your ego will do to you. And generally, ego is attributed as a masculine trait. It isn't true, but it is most often displayed by men because of the environment we are in. So yes, I understand why it's generally attributed to men, but it applies to anybody who's in the security industry. Now, I'm going to start off by saying this. There is a difference between ego and confidence. Be confident in what you know. Be confident in what you have rehearsed or practiced or drilled. But lose your ego. If you want to do well, this is because I've been a CP, and I've done way more CP because I generally don't do non-CP stuff anymore, unless I'm doing like high-end luxury events, weddings, whatever. Even from a supervisory level, excuse me, a lot of this is going to relate to being a bodyguard or close protection operative, executive protection for my American friends. So you have to lose your ego every day. Every single time you go to work, you got to take your ego, put it in your safe at home, and go. And I will try and look at different scenarios or situations where the presence of your ego might make your life more difficult, more challenging, or put you at more risk. Okay. Ego. Let's start soft. Pause. Let's start on a lower level, right? Okay, so I'll use myself as an example. You've employed me to protect you. I have turned up in the required fashion that you prefer, with all 21 stone of myself, my skills, my knowledge, my know-how, my network, my very tiny popularity, all the things that assist me in looking after you. I'm a 6 foot tall male with a soft side for my family, with faith in God, with the ability to de-escalate situations, with these guns, only these guns, for those of you who are snitches. Um, and you now want to hand me your pink fluffy bag. Cool. What's the situation? Saying cool sounds crazy because some of you think, oh yeah, but you're a CPO, your hands are your instruments, they're your weapons, they got to be free, they got to be. Yes, yes, yes. We know what they said in the textbook. But your client is a woman who's shopping, and if she's up there enough, they've closed the store for you or shut the section of the floor. So it's just you, her, and the personal shopper, the sales assistant. So your threat's minimized. And she's asked you, the person she's paying the day rate that you agreed on, to carry her bag for her, or one of her bags, or hold her fluffy pink accessory bag that matches her fluffy pink fur coat or shoes or whatever it is. You can, as the big man that you are, say, no, I'm not going to carry it. I'm sorry, this doesn't fit my role. I need to. You can explain very rationally why your hands need to be free, and she might accept it and allow it to happen, but you won't come back. I guarantee you, they're going to get somebody else just like you who won't mind holding her bag for 5 minutes or 10 minutes or till we get to the car. Because guess what? In that moment, let me change that. Because guess what? Although your role is CPO, everybody, God knows that you are 10 different characters to your principal, depending on where they are and what time it is and who they're with. As a CPO, I've had to drive because we had to leave. Hey, we got to go now. Where's the driver? I don't know. Drive. Okay, here we go. Or hey, here's my keys. I've had too much to drink. Here we go. We're leaving. Oh my God, this bag's so heavy. Could you carry it for me, please? Absolutely. I need. Oh, sure. Oh my God, I have a headache. Oh, I've got painkillers. I can't believe. Look how filthy. Oh, I've got wipes. Something's just happened in my house. Is everyone okay? Which glass? Yeah. The glass on the bathroom thingy. Not the one on the left, not the one on the right, the one on the left. The bathroom. I just said which glass. Tell me which glass broke. The one in the bathroom, the glass plate thingy. Who was in there? Me. How did it break? So I was trying to get up to close the window thingy, then it fell and broke. You climbed on it? No, I didn't climb on it. I climbed next to it and then it broke. Go and tell your mum, clean it up. Okay. I'm now contemplating whether do I edit that out or do I keep that in? Someone's got to be grounded. Something's going to happen. I need to figure out what just happened. Anyway, so right, this parenting thing is not easy, you know. Let's move on. Let's carry on. How did she break it? Anyway, let's carry on. So cool. Excuse me. You very oftentimes as a bodyguard will be alone with your principal, which means that dream that you're sold on TV, where this high level principal's walking around with a PA, a day-to-day manager, and a security and a runner, forget about it. Very rarely do you get that in real life. The PA might be around, but they're always running errands. So guess what? You're left alone with your principal. You might just be left alone with your principal anyway. Let's go. You might have all come out together and your principal wants to take a detour and do a side mission. The only person that has to go with the principal is you. Now it's just the two of you. And the principal's tired, feeling unwell, feeling whatever, and needs a latte. Who do you think's ordering the latte?
Surprise!
I'll tell you the one that really blew my mind. The one that really blew my mind was, by no stretch of my imagination, at least, am I rich. Okay? But I think on this day, the principal forgot that we are not in the same tax bracket. Like, we don't have the same amount of money. So he wanted to make a purchase. We were in LA. And he wanted to, it's not a musician, so don't go looking through my Instagram trying to figure out who it is. This was years ago. We're in LA. He wants to make a purchase in a furniture shop, and he is buying a vase for 7,000. In fact, he's buying a pair of vases for $7,000 each. By the way, that's the sale price. And we weren't in this shop initially. We were in another shop with his wife, who he's now, as women do when they're shopping, she's going off on a wild one. So he's like, look, Hench, let's go. We've gone out into this shop. He likes these vases. He's going to get them. They're on sale. It's half price at 7,000. He says, I'm going to get two. His PA is with his wife. The PA has the card. He says to me, Hench, just put these on your card and then just expense it if you can. No, expense it when we get in.
Ha! Stop.
Brother, I don't have 14,000 sitting in my current account. I'm not ashamed to say that. I don't have 14,000. What, you think 14,000 is just sat in my account? And if it was, you think I'm just going to empty it all on these vases for you? Like, 14,000. Then he just said it so casually and kept it moving. And then he said to the salesperson was just like, oh, okay, from your accent, you don't live here. Talking to me, because obviously he's walked off, carried on with his life. Talking to me, oh, by the way, they shut the shop. So me saying walked off and having a conversation, it doesn't mean that I've left my principal. The shop's closed. It's just us. On arrival, I've had a conversation. They've locked the door. It's closed to the public until we leave. Cool. Oh, you don't sound like you're from here. No, I'm from London. Oh, okay. Oh, how do we get it to you? Oh, I don't live in the same country as him. He lives in Dubai. Oh, okay. So what about shipping? Well, do you provide shipping or should we arrange shipping? Either or. I was like, let's just do it all in one as a package. The shipping was like a further 1,500 or something. So they wanted to slap 15.5K on man's card. He just expected me to be able to absorb 15,500 and expense it. Bear in mind, expense it means you get it back on your invoice payment, which could be whatever. Fortunately, that was a really good client, and they sorted things out within 72 hours normally. And if you need it, like I could genuinely have just said, "Sir, I might have to get this back tonight," and he'd organize. It's like the money is not their issue; it's my issue, because guess who doesn't have 15,500 sitting in their account just for some vases. It's just not there. So I'm on the dial. I'm texting. I'm having a texting frenzy to the PA. Like, you need to get in this shop now, my boy, because the boss has made some requests. And you have to think fast. Okay, so let me make you laugh. This is the funniest part of the story. I'd given the guy my card. But while I'm texting, I'm having this conversation because there are two things you have to balance as well. You have to know your client, learn the behaviors of your client. Once that particular client makes a request or gives an instruction, he needs to feel he's one of those people that some people know that you standing there does not mean that you haven't done what they wanted. For instance, a client says, I need a latte. He needs a latte. That latte is on its way. I've made the call. It's going to be here within 4 minutes. I don't have to move. Some people understand that. There are other people who they need to see you physically walk off to feel like you've done something that they've asked you to do. That's just a psychological thing for some people. He's that type of person that he needs to see motion when he says something. So remember, that's a tip for you. Learn the kind of principle you're with. Cool. So for the purposes of motion, I've pulled out my card holder knowing there is no 15.5 bags in my account. Brother, if I remember at that time, actually, it's funny. I think like, like start of the month when all your direct debits have come out. If I had to put my card in the cash machine at the point and entered my PIN, you would have just heard an audio say, ha ha ha, Oga, stop being silly. But I've pulled it out. Yeah, no. Oh, I can use this card? Yeah, it's a MasterCard. Yeah, absolutely. Just hold on. So let me check. So about the shipping. So now, but I've texted the PA and I'm having this conversation. Now, this is where knowing your stuff matters. I'm able to stall him for 5-6 minutes talking about either whether air shipping or sea shipping is the better option because of the type of products they are. And I extended it by talking about insurance and who would be liable. That's what saved me. Because now we've had that 5 to maybe tops 10-minute conversation. The PA's running. Oh, so this is so and so. He's going to sort this out. Keep it moving. So thinking on your feet is a crucial part of the job. But my ego had to be put aside. But I had to be smart with it. Now, there might be a moment where you might have to just be like, I'm sorry, I'm not in a position to do that. So also, how you talk to people matters. There's a difference between saying, I'm sorry, I can't do that. I'm sorry, I won't do that. I'm sorry, I'm not in a position to do that. The last one is the softest version. So you haven't disgraced yourself. It might mean I only have 13,000 in my account as opposed to 15,500. That's, I'm sorry, I'm not in a position to do that. You don't have to tell everybody you're dead broke in that moment. Do you see how thinking on your feet matters? Also, if you can help it, I learned this the hard way. If you can help it, obviously as you're starting off, it gets better. But if you can help it, try and save at least a £500 pot that you never touch. Put it on a prepaid card and always take that with you, because you will be in situations where you have to do things for either the client or yourself that's just come out of nowhere. And you must always make sure that it's expensible so that when you get it, you put it back in your pot for your next trip. I was on tour with an American client, whoever it was in the admin team. So they're flying direct from America to this place in Europe. I'm coming from London. Someone in the admin team has booked my flight a day early. Got somehow mixed it up. Maybe time zones, whatever. Anyway, I've arrived a day early, and now I'm at the airport with no vehicle to receive me and no hotel booking. I've got on the phone. They've explained. They've apologized. But now I have to Uber to the hotel. The hotel is willing to extend. They've sorted out the room to start a day early or whatever. That's all. They're going to handle it for sure. But I still got to get from the. I still have to get from the airport to the hotel. Two, I still have to sort out my food or whatever it is I might do for the night. Yes, it's expensible, but you have to have the cash available to do it. And it's just because mistakes happen. Clearly, I shouldn't be here, but here I am. What do you do? So if you can, get like a £500. That's a safe kind of, stick it in a prepaid card. That's just for work purposes only. And every time you use it and you get it back, stick it back on there. It's just for work purposes. Cool. Let's get back to ego. So every day when you're with your principal, you have to put your ego aside. Remember, I've started off on a lower level. We're just talking about maybe they're asking you, could you go to the front and get my special guest, please, for me? If you're satisfied that everything's fine where you are and there's no immediate threat, you can go. You're going to have to go and get the guest because it's just the two of you. Could you please make sure that? Let's talk about one of the most popular situations in the world in the history of close protection. And I'm just going to talk about the facts for the purposes of what I'm discussing here. I am not talking about guilt, and I'm not talking about the situation, or I'm not talking about blame. I'm just talking about what can happen to you as a bodyguard. So let's look at when Kim Kardashian got robbed in Paris. Now, I'm going to make it known that I do know the bodyguard she was with at the time personally, Pascal. Brilliant bodyguard, CPO. Brilliant. So good at his job, so seasoned. He's been through it all. A veteran in the game. Excellent CP, in my opinion. Just based on the facts, public knowledge, I'm not going to discuss anything about personal information or conversations with anybody surrounding this. I'm just going to talk about the knowledge in the open, in the media, was that he was requested to take her sibling to a club. So let's use that to tie into, if you are with your principal, the person who is paying you has said to you, could you please take my sister to the club? Could you please take my wife to the supermarket? Could you please follow my husband to the casino? Could you please go with my best friend to get some shoes? Could you please assist my side piece to get a meal? Could you please go with? What are you going to do? You're going to go. Why are you going to go? This is the person who is paying you, who has hired you. Can you refuse? Yes. How long will you keep that job for? Let's count. The end of your contract is just a ticking time bomb. You're going to just start refusing your client the request they make. Let me know how long that lasts for. Now, there's a difference between that and a ridiculous, like for instance, none of my clients can ever ask me to be in possession of any contraband for them. I don't take drugs across borders. I don't carry firearms where we're not allowed. No, you cannot get me to commit a criminal offense for you. That's different. And I want to say this to you as a CPO, if you are asked by your principal to commit a criminal offense, you have every right to say no. In fact, I'm more, fire me, because I won't commit a crime. Who feeds my family when I'm in jail? How does my career grow if I'm in jail? If we're caught? Oh, but what if you're not caught? But what if I am? I don't commit crimes. We're at work. But requests that aren't criminal, are you going to refuse your principal? You're going to have to put your ego in your pocket, bro, sis. So P had to go to the club with the siblings, according to the facts that are presented in the media. And then the unfortunate incident happened, and everyone's like, where's her security? Whoa. Whoa. Let's check the facts. That's the first thing I said. Where's my man? Because I know people, you'd have to shoot him. He probably would have been shot. He would have been shot. He's on that time. And he's allowed to carry in Europe. So I know what he's on. But he wasn't there. On the request of his principal. Maybe that was God looking out for him. So put your ego up. Yes, I didn't come here to look after your 2-year-old. Someone, I was talking to a bodyguard once who was offended that the principal asked him to escort his newborn child and the nanny on a shopping trip. Boy, you send me the child. That is such a risk-free operation. The baby, the newborn baby, and the nanny. The nanny's not a star. No one knows who this baby is. That is a great afternoon. We're not hiding. We're not pushing people back. There's no sea of people. There's no paparazzi. There's no being followed in vehicles. There's no having to go in through the back. We can act as normal people and you get the same rate and you're offended. Why are you offended, bro? Oh, it's because of your ego. You want to be, because it meant that if he's away from the principal, if the principal moves, someone else is seen with the principal, is caught in that picture. That Instagram post looks, I need to validate my place in this industry. I need the validation of my peers, and the people need to know that I am actually out here protecting people. I'm not even, I was going to say I'm not against it. It will happen. You can't avoid feeling like that when you begin, but I promise you, you better get through that phase really quickly because it will affect your work. The higher up you get, the less you need to be like that. Other people's validations has no bearing on your job role, on your skill set, on how well you're performing. It should not. Deliver the service you promise, get paid, get repeat custom. That's it. Keep it moving. If you get that Instagram pic, if you're in that video, great. If you're not, hey, guess what? Did they pay? You didn't come there to be on the Insta-vid. You came there to make sure that the level of threat is as reduced as possible and that nothing happens, God willing. That's what you came for. You've covered all your bases just so that nothing happens. That's what we're there for. So you got to put your ego aside. This is a good point to pivot because we started off at a low level. Now let's take it up a notch. When people start being confrontational, abusive, aggressive towards you, human nature, fight or flight, you either run. You can't run if you're in as a CP. If you have a flight mode as a CP, you're in the wrong industry. So let's get that out of the way now. So you've got to deal with it. You can't engage, especially if you're solo. When you're solo, de-escalation is your best friend, and non-engagement is your badge. You can't afford to engage unless it's gone left. Diffuse 1,000,000%. Diffuse. Your middle name should be diffuser. Diffuse. Engage. How do you engage when you're by yourself? The minute you engage, you quadruple how vulnerable your client is. It just needs to be two of them. You get tangled up with someone, you're done. So you have to learn. I think in one of my previous videos I said I have presets for things I say to people depending on the kind of situation it is, depending on the type of confrontation and so on and so on. I have presets of things I can say, angles I use, because I need to diffuse and we gotta go. And we will. Because if you engage and you have no support, you're by yourself, there just needs to be two of them. It takes less than 10 seconds for your client to be embarrassed, for your client to be violated, for your client to be harmed. It doesn't take a long time. Awesome. Every single time there's an election, they always get what's this guy in the UK that they always get, the guy that supports the racist lot, Nigel Farage. Every single time there's an election, they breach his security. Man he gets a milkshake in the face, an egg or whatever. Like something always happens to it. It takes less than 10 seconds for launch. Woo! No one sees it coming, or someone's walking right up to him. Obviously, smash up something in this. Come on, it's really quick, so you don't get to switch off. You cannot allow your ego. Like you look half the time. This is so annoying as well. The majority of the time, right? The majority of the time, the people who are chucking it are nothing. But they understand that you're in a working role, so you cannot necessarily afford to give them. The amount of people I've looked at and I said, if we were in the street and I wasn't at work, you wouldn't look at me twice. But I say that to myself, and I still, sir, mom, no, look. Hey, who offended you? I'm sorry. Do you know what? Please accept my apology. Some people just don't understand. I'm really sorry. Listen to me. I'll take the. Can I take the blame? Hey, I'm the naughty one. Look, here's a smack on the hand for me. Bad Henchy. Can you accept my apology? Can I get you a drink? Hey, excuse me. Can we get them a drink? Take them away and get them a drink, please. Get them a drink right now. Did that drink happen? I don't know. Who pays for the drink? I don't know. The take them away was the important part. Take them away, get them for. If they put it on the client's bill, the client can swallow whatever it is. I don't care what the drink is. What I do care about is that threat's gone. So you cannot allow your ego to dictate how you respond to people that you know for sure, A, can't have you, can't take you on, wouldn't have you or take you on if you weren't in your work capacity, but all of a sudden they're being rude or disrespectful or whatever. You cannot allow your ego to be the one responding to them. You cannot allow your ego to dictate how you respond to your client. What do you do when your client insults you? I'm not going to dwell on this one because if I talk about the story, there's one particular client in my head. If I talk about the story, I'm going to make you all laugh. Right? This is funny. I'm going to make you all laugh. Hopefully you laugh. This is my take. If a client's being aggressive towards me, do it. My only thing is going to be to the client. So I'm saying if we've reached the point where I've been diplomatic. I've my ego's been out of it, but it's continued. Some people are being continuously harassed and insulted and abused by their clients. There are people going through that. I'm telling you now, it's not all roses. But let's just assume I will do it because there are some a punch in the face from the right client. You might not have to work for a year if the right client can punch. You don't even have to punch me in the throat. Push me in the shoulder. I'll jump into the wall, man. And there are people that feel like they can do that because they have money. Money doesn't make you a better person. It just makes you a richer person at the moment. It doesn't make you better than anyone. So you have to put your ego aside on so many occasions. Sometimes your client's not even angry at you, they're angry at something else, but you're the person that's closest to them. So unfortunately, you're bearing the brunt of their frustration or their anger. You have to put your ego aside. Yes, it's not fair. Yes, it's not about you. Yes, it's not. So why are you going through it? It's just where we are. Saying nothing. Don't let your ego also put you in a situation because you want to prove to the client that you are capable of functioning in all environments. Yeah, I'm hearing crazy stuff that, for instance, in the UK, nobody can carry firearms unless you are in the Metropolitan Police or in a sanctioned team by the Home Secretary, right? You have to be signed off by the Home Secretary to carry a firearm for the purposes of your job. I'm not. You can get. Don't now conflate that. Anyone can get a gun license in the UK if you apply and you are granted one. But that doesn't mean you can carry a firearm for the purposes of your job. I think the rules are you have to have a particular safe that's been inspected in your house where you can keep your gun. The gun has to be a certain type of gun and it has to be for either sport or pest control. So if you don't have a farm and you're not a member of a gun club, and even if you are, and you're on the way to your gun club, if a man cuts you up in the road and gets out of his car and you now go in your boot and pull out your firearm, jail. Because your firearm is only for the purposes of, guess what? Pest control and sport, your gun club. You cannot pull it out anywhere else. So when I'm hearing that there's CPs in the UK that's actually carrying firearms, and it's all rumors. It might be real. I don't know. I'm just saying I've heard about it, or clients that think. Now, I'm not saying there aren't firearms in the UK. Sometimes I think our American friends think there are no firearms There are a lot of firearms in the UK. Are you allowed to carry them? No. I'm a licensed operative, so I would not commit the criminal offense of carrying one in the UK. Do I know how to shoot? Yes, I've been trained how to shoot. I did my training in Serbia with a former KGB operative. Do I carry? Absolutely not. It's against the law in this country. Can I carry in America? No, I cannot, because you'd have to be a resident for some time or whatever the rules are. I'm not going to live there, so I don't carry there. I'd rather go over there and hire a recommended, reputable operator over there who can carry. That's the advantage in all of this. There's a me over there who can carry. We'll link up. We'll get the job done. Because unfortunately, actually, what I've also realized is a lot of people who start off in countries where they can carry and they do carry, their reliance on that firearm is so heavy when they don't have it and they're traveling around the world, they feel inadequate. They feel incomplete. They're so used to drawing, they don't fight. They haven't fought enough. And I want you to know, let me tell you this. I tell bad boys the same thing. This is a true story. I've been at events and bad boys have come up to me. I'm using the term bad boys because obviously I'm not going to say no names. Bad boys have come up to me and said, "Yo, who are you looking after today?" Guys, come on. I'm looking after so and so. So what were you saying? No, I'm really sorry. Please, not today. And respect to who it's due as well. I'm not shooting off my mouth at the bad boys because they're bad boys for a reason. Gents, please, with all due respect, not today, not with me. Like, and the same thing I tell the bad boys, the same thing I tell anyone else. Do you have the machine on you? If the answer is yes, I will tell. Should I tell you why I'll tell? Because you're putting me at risk. It's 5 years for possession. Now, if you don't want me to tell, don't have the machine on you. You cannot be with me at work as a CP and say to me, yo, Hench, I got the something. You've got the what? The Kinney? The what? You gotta go. You've got to go, or I've got to go. And I'll tell the client I'm leaving because of this. So the client's probably going to get rid of you. And if the client wants to keep you, I'm definitely still going to go. And I wish you guys all the best. See how far you get. Now, if we're in a country where you can carry this, please by all means carry it. Carry two. Take two. Go crazy. John Wick the situation if you have to. Hopefully you don't. But in the United Kingdom, sir, you won't carry the something next to me. Don't allow your ego make you want to impress people to the point where you're now considering breaking the law. Your ego. Let me tell you something. There's so many criticisms people can have of you because sometimes in CP, there's no specific right answers. There are a number of answers or routes you could have taken, things you could have done. And in that moment, the one you chose that got you and your principal out safely was the best one for you. Adapt and overcome. Think fast, get the job done, get them safely out of there, or get them safely in there, whichever the case. But we've got to get home the same way we left home. Slap the subscribe button, slap the notification, and slap your neighbor if they haven't slapped the subscribe button. I'll see you on the next one.